Welcome to another episode of Systematic Geekology. This is a space where we seek to create and cultivate healthy conversations between those things we geek out on and the philosophical and theological questions that often arise out of our fandoms. Like, what does it mean to be human? What makes a hero? What makes a villain? How do the stories and narratives we geek out on shape how we live in the world? We are your priest to the geeks. We aren't all ordained, but we see ourselves as mediators at the intersection of geek culture and going deeper in our faith. We don't always have to agree, but we do respect each other, and we see everyone as a beloved child of God. Everyone geeks out on something, so come geek out with us and enjoy the show.
This show is a proud member of the On Us All Podcast Network.
What would you do with a wish stick that could grant you anything you desired? And would you wish for Nick Cage to join the MCU? Welcome to Systematic Geekology. We are the Priest to the Geeks, and we are here for another episode of What's News, where we talk about all the latest things in pop culture and geek culture. And as we alluded to in the intro, we're going to be talking about some very big indie horror movies, as well as a new Spider-Man show with Nicolas Cage. So I'm very excited to talk about all of this. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Schaefer, and I am joined by fellow geekologist, Evan Garcia. Evan, how are you tonight?
Hey Kevin, how are you? I'm doing good. This should be fun. Excited for tonight.
Dude, I'm excited. We are very excited, and if you're watching live on YouTube, hey, welcome. And if this is your first time joining Systematic Geekology, hey, super shout out to you. We are really glad you're here. And yeah, for tonight, we're going to be talking about two new indie horror films, Obsession and Backrooms. And then we're also taking a look at the new Spider Noir series on Amazon Prime. And we'll also talk about some other shows and movies that we've been geeking out on. And so if you're live right now, hey, give us a shout out. Tell us where you're listening from, and we will announce it on the show. So we really appreciate it. And hey, I know every podcast says it, but hey, rate and review our show wherever you get the chance. Whenever you get the chance, whether you're listening later on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, or if you're watching here on YouTube. And if you like this video, if we get 50 likes, we will have Will Rose, one of our regular hosts, is on sabbatical right now. But when he returns, he will possibly dress up as one of the Hutts from Star Wars. And who doesn't want to see that? So if you want to see him do something weird and geeky, like this video. And if you don't know Will is one of our wonderful hosts, and you will appreciate his presence when he does return to the show. So, exactly. And I also want to thank one of our financial supporters here on our Patreon, Jonathan Augustine. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. And if you want a shout out on the show and you want to become one of our supporters, you can just click on the link in the show notes and it'll show you how to become a supporter on our Fourth Wall site. And you can also learn how to get merchandise, free extra content. So a lot of good rewards for you there. So check us out. We really appreciate it. Awesome. Well, Evan, before we get to our main topics tonight, let's first get around to a lightning round. This is where we're going to just hit on some of the other things we've been geeking out on lately, aside from our main topics. So, Evan, do you have anything you want to shout out?
Not off the top of my head. I saw some interesting YouTube videos and stuff like that, but I've been so busy with the end of school year and stuff, so just was hanging out with the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And watching these movies. So yeah.
Dude, there's been a lot, and like, my sister is an elementary school teacher, and she described she described her students as feral right now because they're at the.
I believe it.
Dude, every other county is out right now, and they're still going to like June 10th or something. It's crazy. Well, no worries. But one show I really do want to shout out that I'm going to need to do a full episode on because it's that good. I want to see, I think you would love it. And I want to see who else can from the pod can watch it so we can talk about it more in depth. But Widow's Bay on Apple TV. Dude, I wish I had jumped on it sooner. I only binged it like this weekend and then I just watched the most recent episode. But oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. So I can give just the brief overview. This is a series created by Katie Dippold, who was a writer on Parks and Rec, and she's written some other like Paul Feig comedies. But the series, very inspired by Stephen King or Mike Flanagan's Midnight Mass, but it's about this small island town called Widow's Bay off the coast of Massachusetts, and all this weird stuff has been happening in the town for literally centuries, and the people there have, extreme superstitions about how, you're not supposed to leave the island, and it's cursed, and there's a fusion of comedy and horror that I really love about the show. And the other thing that I really like about it, too, is that it's kind of a perfect marriage between episodic storytelling and serialized storytelling. So while it does tell this overarching narrative of the central character is the mayor of the town who is still much like the mayor in Jaws. He wants to keep tourism open, and he knows that there's weird stuff happening going on in the town, but at the same time he's trying to keep it alive, and he wants people coming in, and he doesn't want them to be scared away by all the old wives' tales and everything, but at the same time he keeps his son from ever leaving the island, so like he knows that the curse exists, and he's trying to find that balance. And so that's sort of the overarching narrative, but like each episode does this really cool like different horror elements. So like the first one deals with this mysterious fog. There's an episode where a party goes terribly wrong and it evokes like an Evil Dead type thing. The episode that just dropped today that I just watched, it was like it was a riff today. It was a riff on Michael Myers.
Okay.
And so dude, it's so, and it's great. It's just like, I mean, it's again, perfect fusion of comedy and horror. Each episode kind of feels like a Stephen King short story, but then there is the overarching narrative to it. So I cannot recommend it enough. Also, Stephen Root is one of the main actors who might be one of my favorite actors of all time. He was Milton in The Office Space. And
really?
Did you watch Barry?
He was in Barry?
Stephen Root.
Who was he in Barry?
Yeah. Barry's main employer when he was like when
I don't
assassin,
remember
the older dude with the beard.
Barry though, yeah. All right. I had no idea.
Stephen Root is really one of the great character actors. Like if you look up his IMDb, he has like 300 credits because he's done a ton of voice acting as well, and he's in a lot of like cult films and stuff like that. But he can really transform himself. But he plays like one of the longtime Islanders who is very much like warning the mayor about all the weird stuff going on. Gotcha. So yeah, it's fit to play. Widow's Bay, cannot recommend enough. I'm gonna need to do a full episode on it. I think you would love it. I'm trying to, Christian definitely. I think Jill definitely. Like we gotta get that like once the season ends.
Right on, man. Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, Evan, I know there is a lot of big topics to talk about tonight, so let's start with our first one, which is Nick Cage Spider Noir series. Can I just say I love that this exists? I mean, can you believe we're in a world where not only is Nicolas Cage in a TV show, which is a big deal, which we have to talk about, but also that they made a live action series of Spider Noir.
We are so spoiled. This is really insanity, and it's perfect. It's just what I thought it would be.
It really is. I of course loved the character in the Spider-Verse films, and and really all of the supporting Spider player, like so Spider Noir, Spider Ham, Spider Punk. Like I was like, I want to see more of all of these, whether they do an animated spin-off or something like this. And this was actually like the perfect way to expand on this character. So Evan, do you want to? Because I know I have not quite finished the series. I've watched 5 out of the 8 episodes, but like you said, there's been a lot coming out lately. And I've also kind of liked the more weekly release format. They dropped the whole season, so I haven't had time to finish it yet. But do you want to give viewers and listeners a brief overview of what this series is and what it's about?
Sure, it is it's a Spider-Man flick where the lead Spider-Man is called Ben Reilly. He's a detective in what seems like a different universe. I think they set that up, and they kind of allude to different universes, I think. But he's a private investigator that has his own agency, kind of like Jessica Jones, but it's set in the 30s, in 1930s in New York. And the first thing that I think that you will notice when you watch it, it's basically Dick Tracy, and I just don't know how else to do it. It's the cars, the costume, the accents, the hats, the lighting, the film noirness of it. It's very film noir. There's a black and white version, and there's a full color version. And it's a pretty cool feature. You can swap between them and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But he's a private eye. He has an assistant, and she does all the paperwork. But he's very cynical. He's very nihilistic at this point. He has a past where his I don't think they were married, but a love interest died, and he's been sent down a hole of despair, and he has not been able to get out of it since then. So they take some odd jobs, and one thing leads to another, and we have a crime boss in the version of a Silvermane. He's played by Brendan Gleeson, fantastically played by him, and he's kind of like a Kingpin light. He's not kind of overpowering, but he has the same presence. And there's a news reporter. There's a subplot, and he's a supporting character played by Lamorne Williams, I think. Morris, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he plays that so well. The supporting cast in this show is brilliant. They all have their own characteristics, and they all bring the weight to the character, and that's pretty much it, I think. And we can go from there.
No, great summary, and it's Dick Tracy, it's Sam Spade, and Lamorne Morris. It was perfect to cast him as Robbie Robertson, because like that's one of my favorite characters in the '90s Spider-Man cartoon. But the way they incorporate him here, it fits so perfectly. Like I love how they play with all of the archetypes of film noir. And it's just because that was the only, like when I first started the show. I mean, I was enjoying it from the get go, but I was like, with the pilot, I was like, okay, this is cool, but how are they gonna really keep this to be a compelling narrative? Because I see all the tropes. I see the femme fatale, the private eye, the assistant, the crime boss, the corrupt politician. All of that is here, but where are they gonna go? Oh, and the deceased love interest. All of those elements were there, but it's like, what are they going to do to kind of elevate it and merge it with the superhero story? And I think they do a phenomenal job. Like, I mean, one thing I really like too is it's become kind of a trend now where a lot of superhero shows, they make you wait for the character to put on the suit,
Right.
whether they are retired, like in this case, or they're stepping into. I mean, like, Daredevil comes to mind. Both the original incarnation and then Born Again. Like Born Again season 1, it took a while for Matt to get the suit back on after he goes through that arc, and I was kind of worried that they would do that again, because I'm like, okay, here I don't really want to wait 5 episodes before we see him in the spider suit. And circumstances force him to come out of retirement, and he still has that like internal grappling, and it's very melodramatic. But that was one of my favorite elements, was they got to the superhero elements quicker than I thought, and they merged perfectly with the noir.
And they completely embrace the style without making fun of it or without making it look cheesy. They just nail the tone perfectly. And I just had a smile on my face. Like, I'm watching a cool superhero and like flick, noir's flick. And did you watch it in a color or the black and white? Nice.
I had to do black and white. I might go back. I mean, now, granted, the color, but like it's cool because they used a very saturated color, much like you see Wizard of Oz, where it's not the kind you see today where it's more muted. It's very of its time. So I am curious to go back, and once I finish it, I do want to see some scenes just to see what they look like. But for the first viewing, I had to go full black and white. It looks so much better. And it's meant for that. But I do like that they give you the option, and you can kind of like for instance, the when Cat Hardy, who it was very much like this is the other thing, I like how they take classic characters from Spider-Man mythology and reinvent them a little. Yeah. So Cat Hardy is very much like the Felicia Hardy here. They just changed the name. But she's the femme fatale. But the this sequence in episode 1 when she's singing, I think that would look great in color. It just has that vibrant aesthetic to it. So I do want to go back and watch that. I kind of want to see some of the fight scenes in color, see what they look like. And also some of the creatures and everything, but overall it just looks amazing in black and white.
And I want to get it into the there's the trope of the different gangsters and stuff, and they play to that so well. It could be cliche, but it's not. And it was really cool to see. For the first few episodes, he played Milton, Lucas Haas from
he was good.
Ryan Johnson lore. So, and I was like, oh wow, is that really him? Because he looks old, and then when I look him up, he's only 2 years older than me. I'm like, oh man, oh man.
And we're also, both of us are much older than the directors we're about to talk about in the next topic. So oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit, but yeah, I know that's the other thing. I really love what they do with the villains here, and both the villains and Ben Reilly got all their powers during World War II, and there was all this weird monster stuff, good sci-fi going on. That was very evocative of the pulp sci-fi magazines at the time.
Yep. They bring that up, and ever since watching the One Piece live action, that's a standard for the mid-season cry for me, because there's this one episode that is just so emotional. I was like, oh, that was heavy. Dang, it really got me.
Did you ever watch any of the CW Flash series?
No, but I watched. I watched the Green Arrow.
Okay, yeah. So, no, I was just curious because the Flash did a similar thing where, Barry and all the villains got their powers at the same time through the lightning storm accident, and I like that as a trope. I mean, yeah, it's a trope, but it's it worked perfectly here. They were Ben and everyone, and the ones who become Electro and
to not spoil it, but that plays into the the take on the a famous line with a great power comes great responsibility. There's a twist on that take at the very end, and I was like, touche, guys, touche, nice.
Yeah. No, if you want just a like wildly entertaining series, I mean, this is it. It's and I was talking about this with Christian on another What's News episode a couple weeks ago. There was a recent Spider-Man Superman crossover comic that had a bunch of backup stories, and they did one with Spider Noir and then the Superman of like the 30s there, so like the Max Fleischer style. And I'm like, oh, I would watch this as a show. Yes, like it was That's great. Cool. Yeah. So this is one where it's like, it's got the tropes. It's very much like not trying to.
He plays a lot of characters. Nicolas Cage surprisingly does a lot of improv in this, and he's so perfect in that. The way he can just switch different kind of characters and play that weird, quirky horror that he likes to play too. So it's And I mean, he's always been great at it. But one of my favorite scenes, it was like, I think it was episode 2 or 3 when he goes to the apartment because I think it was 2 because he's going to retrieve the suit where he left it back, and he pretends to be like what was he playing? He's like, to fix the toilet. Yeah, to fix the toilet. There, he's like, guys, you gotta fix the toilet. You know, he goes into this like histrionic character performance. It was beautiful. I mean, that's the thing about Nick Cage. I mean, yes, he is the king of internet memes. And, I sent you on Instagram that my brother sent me this comedian who does a perfect Nick Cage impression. That was amazing. And he's just been making videos of it. Yeah. But like he was going to the comic shop. He's like, Wolverine. He does all that. But no, Nick Cage has always been, he's so easy to make memes about, but he really is a brilliant artist and actor, and he knows all these different eras of film, particularly classic, and that's why he can tap into Humphrey Bogart here. Comic book reference, so
exactly. He's the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola, and then changed it to based off Luke Cage. But this is just it's a blast of a show. I definitely want more. A really fun creative team here. Liked a lot of the directors, what they brought to it. Great cast. Brendan Gleeson, it's just always a delight to see. And Lamorne Morris, everyone knew exactly how to play the roles here and knew what kind of world this was, and could blend the noir and the comedy, and
I just don't know if it plays into which universe it's in. Is it MCU or is it the Spider-Verse? I couldn't tell, and it might be both. Who knows?
And I kind of like that they leave that more ambiguous. Like they say a line about it at the very beginning. They're like, "What universe was that?" But I was watching a video the other day on Screen Crush saying that this was kind of the multiverse story we should have gotten, because it's not as concerned with all that baggage. It's just like, hey, let's just tell a fun story set in whatever universe, and I'm gonna kind of, in my head canon, I'm setting this in the Spider-Verse universe, but also, I mean, the Spider-Verse one, they made references to the MCU, 616 in Across the Spider-Verse, so it's all connected. But regardless, I appreciate this as a standalone story, So
everybody go watch it.
Awesome. Well, go watch Spider Noir. And now for sorry, a little different, but we've got 2 big indie horror films to talk about next. So, the first one. This was a heavy one. Man, I loved it. Yeah, man, I love this one though. Oh my gosh. I am, and pun intended, but I have been obsessed with this one ever since I saw it.
My daughter as well. Yeah.
I mean, dude, your daughter. Wait, how old's your daughter?
She's the one that got me into it. She's like, "Oh, do you want to see it?" Because I've seen some memes, and I was like, I don't know what it's about. But then she was excited, so I was like, all right, let's go.
Dude, I'd have been scared out of my mind at that age.
But she loved it. She was terrified. She was screaming and crying, but she loved it. She loved it.
Like that. I mean, hey, that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, so Obsession, I mean, this is written and directed by Curry Barker, who is only 26 years old. I think it's crazy that I'm 32, and like this kid's like, and making, a movie that was made on a budget of less than $1 million, has already grossed well over 100 million, is beating out Star Wars. Yeah, like, I mean, it's wild.
Horror, too.
But yeah, so, yeah. Oh my gosh. So I got now this is one I think we can delve into spoilers a little bit.
Like we can probably touch on some things.
Yeah, let's go.
I want to do spoilers with you. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
let's do it. So because if you have not seen it, come back and listen to this later. But it has been out a couple weeks now, and it's kind of hard to talk about it without getting into the story a bit. Yeah. But the basic premise is you have this a guy named Bear who, which is, an interesting name to begin with, but he's in this friend group and he has a major crush on his friend Nikki, who only sees him in a platonic way. And he's, trying to figure out the way to express his feelings, etc. But then he, when the moment comes, he can't bring himself to do it. But he goes to this shady goth store where he picks up a One Wish Willow. I love that they named it that. Like, that was perfect. Like, but it's just this like cheap wish stick, which he's just like, yeah, whatever. I'll pick this up. I mean, it's probably just dumb, but I'll pick it. But in a moment of just like either stupidity or just, he doesn't think this is actually going to work, he says, I wish Nikki loves me more than anyone in the world. And from that point on, you can imagine the repercussions of that. And, this immediately causes Nikki, played by Indy Navarrete, who I was so excited to see her because I've watched all 4 seasons of Superman and Lois. It's one of my favorite Superman adaptations. And she played Lana Lang's daughter in that. And then she comes here and delivers an absolutely powerhouse performance. Bear gets his wish, and Nikki instantly turns a switch and becomes not just in love but obsessed with him, and into an unhealthy degree. And from the get-go, he starts noticing like how much her personality and behavior changes in the blink of an eye. And I that's why also one of the big things I loved about the movie, and again about her performance, is that first 10 minutes we get to see her as her true self, and then when she switches, it's just like
it
playing
hurts
a different character.
Switch like that.
Yeah, it hurts. Yes, it's brutal. And from then on, he's at first he's like, wait, is this like actually happening? What's going on here? And then there are other friends in the group, Ian, played by Cooper Tomlinson, and Sarah, played by Megan Lawless. They start noticing weird stuff too, and it just escalates further and further. Probably the most a moment where I was like, oh, in the theater was when because they're all working at this record store,
and their boss is
yes,
from Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. And he's also like Sarah's dad in it too. But yeah, they're all working this record store, and there's one day where he's on shift and Nikki's not, and Nikki stands still and waits for him all day at the door and urinates and defecates right there on the floor because she can't move with a smile on her face. It was one of the most unsettling images I've seen in a movie in a while. And again, just perfection delivered. But yeah, so it escalates further and further. And we'll go ahead and get into this because I was amazed that I saw any reviews that were like, who is the real villain of Obsession? I was like, bro, how did you was there any debate here? This guy was a monster.
To be honest, I give the film credit to not make Bear completely villainous because there's a world where a movie could have been where Bear was just he was oh, she is all mine now, and it kind of take advantage of her. In that way, they chose to not do that, which I respect them for that. But it's very clear when I walked out of a theater with my daughters, I go, hey, let's be clear. We're on the same page, right?
Yes.
Bear was the bad guy,
Yes.
right? She was, oh, yeah, definitely. I'm like, okay, good. I just wanted to be clear here that Bear is the bad guy here.
No, and you're right. I mean, they didn't make it cartoonish, but like the moments for me where I was just like, F this guy. Where when like, well, the first, like right before, spoiler alert, but right before Sarah dies, like in that scene, scene in the bedroom where the whole 10 minutes, so they're like, it does a really brilliant thing where Nikki, like her actual self is still in there, but she can't do anything. She's like trapped. And
a kind of demonic possession kind of a theme going on there.
Yes. And so, like, there's a moment there when Bear is going to try to get outside to meet with Sarah, and the real Nikki is conscious enough, and she says to him, like, kill me because, like, hey, she's asleep right now, referring to, like, the demonic Sarah, Nikki. And she's like, kill me right now. And his response was like, don't you want to be with me? I almost threw my popcorn
at the screen at him. I was like, are you serious?
Oh my gosh, dude. Like, there was that, and then the other so then of course he goes out to talk with Sarah, who, by the way, like has kind of had a crush on him too, and this could have all been avoided if he had just like but I mean, I knew exactly what was going to happen here. It did not make it any less unsettling, and it still made me jump because it was such an effective execution. But they start talking, and of course Nikki comes out and not just kills Sarah, but mutilates her.
I saw it coming, but I still jumped the same way that I jumped when the alien kind of passed by at their birthday party in science. I was like, good God. Yes. And then it just kept going.
It
just kept going.
Yes. I
was like, oh no.
Exactly. Like, you knew it was coming, but it was so visceral, and so like it got everyone in the theater I was in too. And then after that, dude, he goes to Ian after he doesn't even tell Ian that Sarah's dead. I was like, this guy is just so
kind of feels bad for what he did there. Like, finally feels bad. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of confesses. I'm like, where was this 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago?
Yes.
This dude. But the way they play with that trope was a trick, I don't want to say it, but like the weak male where he just like, bro, have some balls.
Oh, very.
Just say that you like her, or say this, and it's just like, bro, come on. But yet, I do empathize with him too. I wouldn't go as far, I don't think, but I would.
Well, no, I think what the movie does effectively is, I mean, no, you're absolutely, it's commenting on toxic masculinity, incel, all of that, but, like, what it does effectively is at the very beginning, like, okay, let's be honest, like, I mean, the wish stick aside, but, like, we've kind of all been there where when we were younger, we had feelings for someone, and we were too nervous to, and we were too nervous to say, because, like, we didn't want to ruin the friendship, so, I mean, that's a very relatable entry, but it's the, like, everything that goes from that point on and escalates, and yes, it comments on the concept of, like, male loneliness, toxic masculinity, all of this, and I think it does it very effectively, and it's like, it never, like, it starts with something relatable and a little more universal, again, of that, like, having feelings for someone, but too afraid to just, tell them the truth, but then it goes into, then it just becomes like, he's a monster for what he's doing to her psychologically, and it's hurting not like her and everyone else around him and himself.
She becomes this obsessive kind of pick-me girl to the point of just self-mutilation, causing scenes in public, and the discourse online is crazy with this movie because it's wild to see what people pick up on, and like, I was talking to my wife. She's a therapist, and she doesn't know the spoiler part. She doesn't know about the one wish part, but she's seen clips and stuff of everything else. And she's like, oh, she has a borderline. She has a mania. I'm like, yes, but it's not her. And I want to tell her, like, it's not her fault. Like that changes everything. But she won't watch it because she hates a horror film. So, and I don't blame her. I don't blame her with this one. I don't blame her.
Oh, and I mean, like, Spider Noir is pretty fun. I mean, not like kids show, but like it's pretty, you know, like moments. Now Obsession and the movie we're gonna talk about after. Yeah, it's not one I can recommend to everyone because it's heavy, it's unsettling. I did love it, but if you're not a horror fan, this one, it'll make you squeamish and terrified and leave you with nightmares for however long to come. So I can't necessarily recommend to everyone, but oh my gosh, as far as, you know, there's this kind of cliche term now called like elevated horror, where it is, you know, more of a psychological message and right, a Blumhouser, and like it's just like a not like the like the A24 stuff and like the kind of horror that isn't just like slashers of the old days, but it's like, you know, meant to really say something about humanity. But this definitely fits into that.
And to go off of that, like right when he walked into that store to buy the thing, I knew exactly what was going to happen. Like this is that episode of the Simpsons, the Monkey Paw, that they were spoofing Twilight Zone. I was like, I know exactly where this is going, and I don't think I like it. I was like, but I'm here for it. Come on, bring it on. And that did not disappoint. It did not disappoint because it's basically a Twilight Zone episode. It's a cautionary tale, blah blah blah. Yep. So, but they make it for the modern audience and our modern climate. So, yeah.
Very. I mean, and it's fair. I mean, I know I'm joking about the director being so young.
How do you have all that life experience at 26 years old and to put it into this? I hope he wasn't abused or anything.
I hope not too. I mean, it's very heavy. But it's all. I mean, I think like, if you are from the generation that's raised on the internet, even if you haven't dealt with like stuff by yourself, in therapy, like you can just, you know, get these material just by reading and absorbing a lot of stuff and like seeing what people are talking about. So because that's a good point though. I haven't read interviews with him yet.
I saw some,
but I'd be curious.
He seems really young, but in that kind of like a cinephile youngness.
Yes. Well, and also just like the craftsmanship of like that's more like I made some shorts in college and stuff like that, but like at 26, I would not have been able to make a full feature.
I couldn't even do proper rack focus.
Right. I mean the execution from a filmmaking standpoint and like you know, the cleverness of the script, the execution, cinematography, it's just wonderfully done. So very unnerving film, not one you just go to relax to unwind after a long day, but if you're in for a wild trip from start to finish. And again, nothing but praise for all the performances, but Andy Navarrete was just like, he was incredible.
He needs to be in Star Wars now.
100%. Oh, wait, hey, she's already been in DC. Yeah, like put her wherever. Like whatever she wants to do next, let her. But yeah, so awesome. Well, now we have another horror film to discuss. That also came out this one by a 20-year-old debut feature director. This is Backrooms, directed by Kane Parsons, written by Will Sudik, and also Kane Parsons based on his YouTube channel, starring Chiwetel Ejiofor, Renate Rainsby, okay, and Mark Duplass.
Mark Duplass was perfect.
But yeah, I know Evan. Yeah, he really was. That was great. So I just saw this on Saturday. Evan, you want to give a little? We can also do. This one isn't as big on spoilers anyway, because like it's a very different kind of narrative than Obsession. But you want to give kind of an overview of what this movie is?
This movie is a film like you said, it's based off of Kane's YouTube channel series that he made based off of a random picture on a 4chan that was a meme that had some lore that is also kind of based on the genre of liminal space photography and urban exploring. So there's so many different layers here. When I heard that this movie was coming out, I was like, are you talking about the abandoned movie? I was, what? And then I looked into it and said, yeah. It's like, holy cow. So we went from abandoned malls, people making videos in abandoned malls, all the way to a full-fledged psychotic thriller feature film. I'm like, wow, what is this world we live in? That is fantastic, and made by the guy that made it popular. So he took that photo that had just a caption, and it was very mysterious, and it had the photo. It was very a liminal space photo, and he created this whole lore about it where I didn't know about the lore. My kids know about it. They love it. I don't know that much about it. I saw like 2-3 episodes and I couldn't go back to it. So, but they constantly talk about it with their friends, so they are in it. I just know it from the photo from like 20 years ago. But what it is that it's a man played by Chitwell, that he's going to a therapist played by Renee, and he just went through a divorce, and he owns a furniture store, but he's a architect, so he's kind of he's kind of stuck in a rut. He went through the divorce, and apparently it was a very bad divorce, and he's going to the therapist for help, and then he owns this a furniture store that no one shows up. He only has 2 different employees, and it's kind of like he's very frustrated with where he is, and through a series of events he finds out there's a portal to this what seems like a never-ending room inside of his furniture store, and things happen. They showcase the tropes of the liminal space with the abandoned film and the abandoned rooms, and they play with a supernatural feeling, and it's very interesting how they switch from the omniscient camera view to the found footage camera view. They're very smart in how they want to switch and to see what they want to tell, and this becomes a allegory for mental health. And what we know is that you it's that a Bible verse of like try to capture your thoughts. That's kind of what I took from it. Like, this is how you deal with your mental health when you suffer from like manic depression and OCD and things that just kind of get away from you, and when they are not taken care of properly, they can come back and affect you, and so that's a allegory for that. So hopefully that made sense.
That was really eloquently put. I mean, because that was the thing. So like I came in knowing next to nothing about the lore and myth. I almost I came into this movie and it's like, hey, is this like what normal people feel like when they go into a DC, Marvel, Star Wars movie? You know, like and they don't have all the lore and mythology stuck in their heads like I do. But yeah, I mean, and so I'll say about this movie, like I can't say I enjoyed it as much. Like I thought it was a really interesting concept, and I love how you described it there. That actually helped me.
Well, there's so many ways
I did leave
to take this film though, but that's the one that I walked away from. Yeah.
Right, and I like that because I like this concept of like the subliminal spaces, and I think about that even with my like the way my brain goes down various loopholes, and I think we all have sort of a Alice in Wonderland kind of in there. Like I mean, we like I mean, it's like the expression of like I've lost my train of thought. It goes in a million directions, and that's what this was exploring. Granted, it made for. It's, for me, an unnerving cinematic experience, which I also think was kind of the intention. And so that's why I wasn't, can't say I was like having a great time. And I know this was not meant to be a straightforward narrative film. Like Obsession, very straightforward narrative. It's like the guy gets the wish stick, he makes like wish, shit goes down after that. And so it was just like, very, very straightforward. And it was ride. This one, like you said, it's like, there was the element of Chiwetel Ejiofor's character being divorced. He hates his life and as the therapist, and then he goes down this rabbit hole. Granted, I do think even with all that, like the mythology and all of the concepts here being really interested, I do think the characters could have been written better. Like, I mean, Chiwetel Ejiofor, a great actor, but I don't think he had a ton of material to work with. Like, it was a pretty one note and same with the therapist. Like, I didn't really learn anything about her. So for me, that made it hard because that's really the type of horror I love the most is whatever the concept is, I want to be connected to the characters in some fashion. And I felt that in Obsession because like I was, I really felt for Nikki, for instance. I felt for Sarah. Bear, I was like, okay, go screw this guy. But I had that like, direct connection to the characters. Whereas here it was like, okay, it was more interested in the concepts than it was them and fleshing them out. So I think that would be my main criticism here. So still really fascinating concept. And again, I mean, for a 20-year-old director, like to do this, that's incredible. I just can't imagine. Dude, in college at 20, good gosh, I was, spending my money on pizza and comic books, and I made a few shorts and stuff, but yeah, I could write essays and stuff at the last minute, but that was about my...
I wonder how the first day of the shoot went, and the cast and crew was like, wait a minute, he's the director? Like, wait a minute.
I know, right?
He's a kid.
Dude, he's directing like Chiwetel Ejiofor, who has been in a Best Picture winner.
He's Agent Callus. Wait.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, I don't think he is.
No, but he's, but in Doctor Strange, he's Baron Mordo, and he's been in, like, American Gangster, 12 Years a Slave, like, a bunch of stuff, but, Callus, I'm not sure.
That's someone else.
But, like, but he should be in Star Wars stuff. That would be great. But yeah, I did see in the credits, like, James Wan was a producer. Sean Levy was as well. So, he definitely had, like, mentors there, but nonetheless, he still, took the lead here. It was incredible.
And all the special effects and a building that practical set, I think it was 30,000 square feet. I heard they built. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. And it was wild. The opening scene shows the little tease of it, but once they actually get into, like you said, the portal and the rooms and and they do the stuff with the Christmas scene with the memories of the Christmas tree and again, all these spaces in our mind that occupy, it brought to mind, what's fascinating, when we think about, if you ever get the question of what's your earliest memory, I don't know what my earliest memory is, but it's really weird what you remember from childhood.
I know how I feel.
Yes, you can feel
about it, but I don't remember it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think the film really captured that. So for me, yes, it is a more atmospheric film. It's more about feeling, more about aesthetic. But I would be interested in seeing what he does next. And I hope for a more fleshed out narrative personally.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the ambition, and I'm glad I saw it. It wasn't my favorite personally, but I'm hey, I'm all for more inventive, kind of ambitious films like this.
Because me and and my kids were talking about it, and oh yeah, halfway through, I remembered that the film was a rated R, and I'm like, oh, there's nothing wrong with this film. Like, why is it rated R? Because I was with my kids, and then I was like, right then is where he scalpels them, and I was like, oh, this is why it's rated R. Okay, my bad. There it is. So, but yeah, my daughter was saying that for her, the found footage feel and was very scary. I'm like, it's not scary to me. To me, that's so nostalgic. That's like that's how I remember trips to Disney as a kid. It's like, so that twisted a lot of things for me. I was just like, I don't know how to take this. It's so unnerving, but yet it's so nostalgic for something I don't know about. It's so weird. And I'm a big fan of abandoned videos of the Bright Sun films and even Adam the Woo. He was big into that kind of stuff, and the whole Disney side of this stuff, urban exploring. It's so cool. But what I respect is the restraint from the director, because the show, his series, has so much lore behind it. Like, I've looked into it. It's like you could write encyclopedias on it. It's almost like a Star Wars canon by now. It's so deep. And the fact that he just kind of touched on it here, and he just kind of like set that allegory of, you would never know the whole thing. You would just learn piece by piece by the Mark Duplass character. We find out that this place is kind of a corporation, and they're trying to figure out these different portals, and it plays with memories and stuff like that. So I respect the restraint in that.
And that is, I mean, yeah, especially when you've like created this mythology and it's, prime material for a lot of short films, it could be easy to like try to cram as much of that into a feature. But that's a good point. I mean, and it did make me want to go kind of look into this deeper and see, what the appeal was, and where, what the fan base is saying. So yeah, it's really cool. Also, did you see the Instagram meme I posted earlier where it was like Disney trying to figure out how like 2 indie horror films beat out the latest Star Wars, and it had Obadiah Stane was like, Tony Stark was able to do this in a cave with it, which like the irony of was like that comes from the first Iron Man, which Jon Favreau directed. So it's kind of like, yeah, it is wild, but yeah, I mean, like, but I mean, hey, well, I mean, I'm going to see Mandalorian again on Sunday to take my niece and nephew. But I am like really happy that these 2 films that have done so well and have defied all expectations and are challenging
Check
Hollywood
out
standards.
Our socials. I've been sharing a lot of memes I've been making from
Yes.
from these films and from Spider Noir is primed for so many memes. There's so many perfect.
Dude,
the line about hot dogs,
the cheesecake one,
the cheesecake. It was like, what?
Yep.
So good. Cool. All right.
It was perfect. Yes, Evan is the master of memes, and if you are new to Systematic Geekology, follow us on social because you're going to find some great ones on there. But yeah, awesome. Well, Evan, anything else you want to say about Backrooms before we start wrapping up?
A sequel called Gardens, and it's just a bunch of abandoned Target garden centers.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah,
I like it. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm really a bit both.
I'm cool if
Kane
they
Parsons
don't do a sequel to this one because it's so.
That's true. Yeah,
I think it's tight enough.
Yeah.
So.
Regardless of whatever Kane Parsons and Curry Barker do next, I'm all here for it. I want to see where these guys go from here. So yeah. Right on. Well, I've been wrapping up here. Think about the topics we've talked about tonight, or if you have anything else, what's one thing you want to recommend to viewers and listeners?
I would say it's a recommendation for myself too. It's the the Kane Parsons Backrooms series. It's very from the few episodes that I've seen, it's very Fringe kind of meets they show Fringe kind of meets the Blair Witch Project, so we should do that. Nice.
Right on. Awesome. And I'm going to recommend Widow's Bay. I think if of course I love, especially Obsession and Spider Noir I love, but if Obsession is a little too heavy for you and you're not quite into that kind of horror, you want something a little lighter, but it has the comedy angle to it too. I think Widow's Bay is excellent, and I want to talk about it with more people. So go watch that. Great show on Apple. So yeah. Awesome. Well, Evan, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for geeking out with me. And thank you all to our viewers, listeners, for tuning in. We really appreciate you all. Again, click on the show notes for find out ways to support us. And remember, we are all a chosen people, a geekdom of priests. So until next time.
Thank you all so much for your time listening to this episode. If you want to help sponsor our show, but you can't quite do the membership thing, commit to that once a month payment, good news, you can leave a donation on our Fourth Wall website. You also can get some free content over there. So if you don't have the money for the membership, but you still want to hear some of the extras and bonuses we do over on Fourth Wall, there's an option for that. If you want to support the show without that commitment every month, again, you can donate over there. Every little bit helps. Our show has a lot of needs when it comes to equipment, when it comes to going to some of the events we want to go to, advertising, getting the word out about our show. It takes a lot, and we really appreciate each and every person who's able to help us do it, even if it's something free, just like the free membership or leaving a rate and review on our site. Every little bit helps. Your time listening to this helps, and we appreciate all of you. We're so proud of the community we formed over at Systematic Ecology, and we're very happy and we're proud that you're a part of it. Thank you so much for your time and for being a part of this community.
Hello, friends. This is Andy Walsh. Thanks for listening. If you're going to be a systematic geek about this podcast, you need to know that it's part of the Inato Podcast Network. Other shows in the network include the Whole Church Podcast, where Joshua Knoll and TJ Blackwell have spent over 7 years now in pursuit of church unity through education and conversations with leaders across traditions. 7 years, that's a podcast that has lost some baby teeth. My Seminary Life with Brandon Knight, where he began discussing what he learned as a seminary student and is now learning with the listeners in a continuing lifelong education. The Bible After Hours with the Foul-Mouthed Preacher, where he critically examines the modern church through satire, then provides a more progressive reading of Scripture. And The Homily with Pastor Chill Will from Chapel Hill, where Will Rose's homilies are periodically updated and made available through the podcast, always reminding us that we are loved with a love deeper than words. Thanks again for listening, and remember, if you're going to geek, do it systematically.